Hi there, my name is Dee and this video is an art collaboration with the Creative Lulu. I've collabed with her before, you can find that video linked below along with her channel so you can check out her part of this collaboration. For our videos, we decided to make a character based on animals and I chose a skunk. Of course, I was going to lean completely on the black and white aesthetic of the animal, but I wanted her to have a specific style, and when I think of girly black and white outfits, the gothic Lolita style came to mind. I'm currently working on another digital drawing of a Decora Key fashion character, and that style is so full of color and pop, being completely opposite of this one. But it was still fun and challenging to try and figure out shading and highlighting on the most opposite ends of the color wheel. After I somewhat finished the outline, I started color blocking. When adding more details to the areas that would be black, I lowered the opacity on those layers and then on a new layer would go in with more detail so I'd be able to see where I'd mapped everything out in my line art. I got some advice to tint all the black to a super dark blue, that way the shading could be pure black and would be easier to see, and I think it really helped to make the character pop. I also tried a new style of painting the skin, where I would color block on all the skin tones first and then softly blend them into each other, and I think the way the skin turned out using this technique is my favorite of any digital painting I've done. Normally I would blend each color as I go, but it can get so finicky and I get so frustrated when things start getting muddy, and this technique really made things simpler for me. It wasn't until this point in the painting that I changed the background color so the white would be easier to see that I realized I had completely forgotten about her ears. Her head was looking a little big compared to her body, so pretty soon I'll group all the layers of her head, so the line art, the skin base, the shading, and shrink them down. I don't merge any of my important layers unless I absolutely have to, because if something needs to be adjusted later and the specific layer has been merged with another one, it can be really difficult or almost impossible to fix things without messing something else up. In my experience anyway, which I have very little of when it comes to digital art. Her arms also seemed a little small, so I adjusted those as well before coloring in her top. I initially thought that after I finished her skin that was going to be my favorite part of the painting, and I put off finishing the rest of it for so long because I'm so intimidated by clothing. Especially because I like to go for a more semi-realistic style, so I feel like the clothing can't be too simple. But I have since changed my mind because the skirt and the bow are absolutely my favorite part of this character. Somehow my shading and highlights made the fabric look almost like satin, which I wasn't necessarily going for, but I love the way it looks and I honestly surprised myself. I do go in later and darken up the shading on the shirt, but it was kind of tricky. With it being stark white, I didn't want the shadows to be too dark, but to still show defining features of the top. I had the same issue with the white bits of the hair. Oh, and the skirt and the bow were painted a little bright initially just so I could see all my details, but I did go ahead and darken them because this is supposed to be based off of a skunk, which is black and white. I did the same with the black parts of the hair. I wanted all the details to be visible, so the overall color of the darkest areas is as dark to black as I could go while still being able to go darker in the shadows. And here's the finished painting. I think the only thing I'm unhappy with, surprisingly there's only one thing, is her legs. I wanted the whole skirt to show, but I didn't want to make it a full body drawing. I probably should have just shrunken all of her down to add a bit more of her legs just for the sake of the composition, but nah, I think it'll be okay. Thank you so much for watching. Please go and head over to the Creative Lulu's channel to see which animal she created a human character based on. I'm really excited to see it myself. Please consider liking this video and subscribing, and I'll see you next time. Bye!